Alright, hi guys, and welcome to episode 2. I am very excited. As you guys have seen, I have started to work on our little animal areas. In particular, this chicken coop. I have gone ahead and I've gone and added a lot of this floral stuff around, and I'm really excited because it's really starting to make my builds blend into the environment. Now, towards the beginning of last episode, I mentioned wanting to do chickens as my first farm animal, and wheat and carrots as my first crops for this chicken feed. I wanted to see what it would do to chickens, and well, I have some chickens and I have some chicken feed, so I guess we're gonna find out. Wow, I have absolutely no idea what that did. Well, since we are here, I will go ahead and show you guys a little bit of this interior. It isn't hugely complicated, mostly because it is quite a small space. It does have a very small, currently there's only one chicken in there, although I do plan on putting in some more once I do have some more feeding eggs in for collection for food and various other things I might need chicken eggs for. But I also have these incubation nests, which I believe the way they work is when a chicken is on top of one and they lay an egg, the chicken will, or the nest that is, will pick up the egg and it'll incubate it, more or less. Eventually those will hatch into chickens, and slowly but surely I will have to really actively keep an eye on these chickens to have more of them. It also seems like they drop. I wonder if that's what the cluck did. I wonder if the cluck made them drop feathers. Well, let's try it on this one. There you go, buddy. Run around, do your chicken thing. Well, he egged me. What do you do? Tell me your secrets, chicken man. I don't think he's particularly interested in sharing his secrets, but I do think these feathers were perhaps dropped because of that effect, because I have not seen any chickens drop feathers otherwise. In particular, this one has been in there for a while, and this hopper has not picked up any, has not picked up any feathers, so over here, you guys can kind of see the bushy fencing that I've built up around my little crop fields. I kind of did that with the idea of them being some kind of native bush to the environment that has just been trained to grow in this way to protect the crop fields from particularly heavy weather from too much erosion occurring with water being right next door. And I know I had that little bit of pathing up here, and I know this pathing is all new. I'm not sure if I have added this copper. Alright. I added this copper grate in last episode or not, but I already have kind of started thinking a lot about how I want the paths to go, even as I start building up more of a city over and around back this way, and how they might be used to irrigate or to transport water throughout the city and throughout, their buildings and their crop fields and their farming areas, to automate it, to have very thorough distribution of water, to have easy access to water, because taking care of crops and taking care of animals in any capacity is very, very, water intensive. Alright, as a new day dawns, I do have one last thing I want to do with those chickens before I kind of move on to the bulk of today's episode, and it is a modded thing related to, now that I kind of understand what this chicken feed does. Now, it's related to that chicken feed. I'm fairly certain these feeding troughs I can fill with the feed, and they will eat it automatically when they are nearby. And what I'm wondering is if I can maybe switch that out really quick. And can I fill this up with, I can't fill it up with chicken feed. I wonder if it can only be seeds? Or what? Alright, so it looks like, yeah, that will only be filled up with seeds. So for now, what I will do is I will just feed the guys that are in here some more of this chicken feed, and then I will just store it away for later. And perhaps periodically, when we are in particular need of chicken drops, we will come by and just manually collect it, or perhaps there might even be some viability to automatic farmer much later on when I'm better equipped and have significantly more resources at my disposal. I also mentioned last episode that I was going to work on getting some enchantments up, and you might have noticed a little bit of a sheen in my armor. I do have like a full level 30 enchant on this, and I have full level 30 enchant on this diamond pickaxe. Silk Touch is great. I still really want bees, so that will help me get them much easier than before. And these pants do have some like modded enchantments on them. They're backup protections, which from my understanding are essentially just much minor versions of all of their regular protection things and can be applied in addition to the one full protection enchantment, if you will. My hat just has like a small enchantment on it, and already I can see that I'm not doing too well equipment-wise. So I think I'm going to need to get more XP and go mining again. But before I really worry about any of that on today's episode, I kind of want to go exploring. I want to do a little bit of exploring. I'm really hopeful. I don't know why. I'm gonna get distracted for a second. Side quest. The glass, these transparent blocks, my shaders don't register them as blocking rain, so I still get these water droplets on my face. I don't want to disable them because they're really pretty when I'm outside. It's just a little strange when I'm, beneath some glass and absolutely no rain should be touching me. Regardless, like I said, I want to do a little bit of adventuring today. I do still intend, although I completed that little coop back there, and I am very happy with it, I still do intend to make a much larger barn. I have had some thoughts just in the past couple of minutes, actually, because I was going to go adventuring so I could think about it more. But I did just have some thoughts on the kind of shape and build I want to do. It is going to be a pretty non-typical barn shape. I want to have it kind of have a sloping triangular roof so that the view kind of from this chicken coop, or behind the chicken coop, it kind of goes up like that and just has a really lovely sight line that kind of leads your gaze down and across these fields. And I will, of course, be using a very similar block palette, although I focused heavily enough on the red maple and acacia palette I have going to tie in with that palette that I may focus more primarily on this white palette, which will mean but I definitely need to get some more birch and some more diorite. I did do a lot of mining in between episodes, and I do have quite... Ouch. I do have quite a bit of calcite, as I think I managed to find... There we go, see. 792 calcite. I found, I think, a series of like 3 geodes that were all right next to each other, and none of them are particularly far from my base, as they all connect to that same cave that I have been using to go mining since the very beginning. Regardless, I'm hoping to do some adventuring, despite the fact that I no longer really need the excuse of adventuring to think about what kind of barn I want to build for some of my more typical barn animals. I think I'm still going to go adventuring. There are a couple of directions that I haven't been too extensively, and it's primarily, I would say, the northwest direction. The northeast direction is where I went last episode to get those yaks, which failed me. Prior to that, I did do a little bit more exploration down towards, I guess, I believe where I'm thinking of is the southwest, kind of westish, and I believe that leads towards a warmer savanna area where I found my elephant. And of course, over that way are those big mountains and a bunch of kind of orchards and stuff that I have gotten lost in before. And I haven't gone too much further than 500, 700 blocks out, which, to be fair, is a fairly long distance to go on foot. But I don't really care. I have backpacks. I like exploring. I think it'll be fun. I'd like to see if I can maybe pick up some helpful resources and materials that aren't quite so accessible near where I am right now. So before we headed out on that journey, I did a couple more little things of preparation. I used my last 6 diamonds to make a pair of boots and a diamond sword. I'm debating still on if I want to give them like some cheaper enchantments before I head out. I probably won't. I hope I get some level 30 while I'm out and about. I also made up a bunch more various kinds of food that I had the materials for. Some turtle meat dishes. I didn't kill any turtles in the making of this. I just found some already dead. Some pumpkin bread and some cantaloupe bread. The pumpkin bread, for how painful it was to make, is not that great of a food. However, it's pumpkin bread, and pumpkin bread's great. I made a shield, and that's pretty much it. Let me make sure I have a note before heading in, and we will go and see what we find. I very quickly realized that north was the direction I thought south was, so I am now... Ow, God, what? What are you? Oh my god, I kind of love you, actually. Can I pick you up in a bucket? Hold on. Ouch. Ouch. I can bucket you! Oh my god, you're adorable! I'm gonna have to make an aquarium very, very soon, my goodness. Alright. Okay. So I believe this way I haven't been anywhere near, and I think I'm just going to try and follow this waterway maybe further southwest and see where I end up. I mean, I didn't really come out with the intention of getting coal, but at the same time, I kind of really need coal. Copper 2. I keep forgetting I'm not in past the point where trial chambers exist, so I can't just go to a trial chamber and loot all of the copper blocks I want. I need to mine it like a normal person. Ugh. I really do like this barley grass. I might as well grab some while I'm here. Yeah, I was gonna use my iron pickaxe to conserve the durability of the diamond one, but... no. It has deficiency. I'm not gonna do that. And when I do inevitably run out of calcite, this will be a great source of it. I can see veins running all over it on my minimap. Mouse? Mouse? What? If that's not a small animal, what is a small animal? Hold on, guys, forget my haul so far. Nothing matters, there's a bee. That means there's bees nearby. Or a bee nest. Oh, a bee. Yoink. How badly do I want all of that ore? Not that badly. Thanks for answering that question for me. Alright, this is the last patch of ore that I can really see on the very surface of this mountain. There were definitely a couple of ravines that I could have gone into that were still exposed, but I didn't feel like it. I saw a creeper spawn, I saw other things. It was scary. But I still have a pretty hefty haul. I have enough coal, excuse me, to last me approximately a decade. I have a little bit of iron, and I've even found a couple of emerald ore, which I'm very excited about. It is one of the rarer ores in the game. I'm gonna have to remember where this is, so maybe I can come back with a beacon and really scour it for deep slate emeralds at a future date. But for now, I continue. I think I'm gonna head down this way towards that southwest. I think I can see on my mini-map, and really squinting through the trees, what looks like it might be a plains biome. Baby. Baby? Look at his feet go! No! Once again foiled by the you can only capture small animals. Well, it is the smallest plains biome known to the living world, but I think I'm gonna cross this little section of ocean, it looks like, and head out that way, maybe. Weasels. Oh my god. I sincerely doubt I'll be able to pick you up if I couldn't pick up the mice or anything. No, okay. Can I tame you? Can we be friends? I can, but I need Raw Rabbit. This is really sad, because I really love you. Look at you go. Oh! Goodbye, my friend. Bears. Structure. Don't mind me, bears. I'm just going to this interesting structure. Oh, it's another better archaeology one. I'll take some leather. Ooh. A pot for me. I didn't really obtain any loot, but I am obtaining the pots for sure. There's chickens nearby. Hmm. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Hmm. Let's see what we've got. I love archaeology. I think I've said that before. I wouldn't surprise me if I had, because I do love archaeology. I think it is a very fun feature that Minecraft added despite a lot of people's dislike of it. Oh, that's not... Alright, I think that's it here. Yep. Alright, that's it for this little structure, but I got a template. I got a couple of vases. I got some artifact shards, which I believe you can use... Yeah, you craft them into this, and then it has a table, like an archaeology table, that can be used to identify it into one of those little artifacts. And what is this? Alright, that's something, I don't know what that is at all. So I just found my favorite, I think, plant in the game ever. I just discovered it was my favorite plant in the game ever. And these are like, they're like the, oh, I have a bunch of them already. You can place them like that, but they're clovers and they're beautiful and I love them. Shut the fuck up, look at this. I can't say that on YouTube. Wait, yes I can, I'm not monetized. Shut the fuck up and look at this lichen. Alright, dogs. Are you destined to be the dog? No. Alright, I see some exciting things ahead of me. I've been finding more of these mushroom chunks, and now that I have Silk Touch, I can pick them up for decoration, which is way better than any mushrooms they might give me upon otherwise breaking them. Oh, it's the smallest Skyrus biome I've ever seen. Let's pick up some of this wild corn. The state of my inventory right now is not fantastic. And I shouldn't have done that. I had all my tools organized at the top. Too late. I have about a row left, but the problem is there's too many things still. I like items. There are bundles. I know I have a bundle mod that brings them back. Oh, but they're more expensive. 5, 6, and 2 string. I only have 5 leather. Now, in general, I've been trying, for the state of my inventory, to only grab, like, logs and, like, saplings and stuff of things that I know I'm going to be, or not necessarily know that I'm going to use, but, you know, seem like a distinct possibility. They fit in well with my color palette, they, you know, they look nice, they work with what I plan on doing, all of that kind of thing, right? Skyrus logs don't really fit in with any of that, but they do fit in very well with the kind of theme of wildlife kind of preservation I'm going for. Not that chopping down the one tree in this tiniest Skyrays Vale biome I've ever seen is very nature reserve of me, but you know, also exciting. I saw one of the mods I have does install these little snake guys that are based off of like a very common pet snake that people own in real life, hognose snakes, and it lets you train them and breed them. And I was so convinced that this wasn't gonna work, but I have him. He's mine. I won't be able to take multiple with me, but I have one. Oh, I love him. Ooh, a trunk. Oh, they drop things. Interesting. A snake tube. Which can be turned into bone meal, and the snake shed can be turned into a snake bag. Or a scoot. Oh, I like that. That is a fun little mechanic to add to them. To make them worthwhile keeping over turtles. Oh, it just popped up. Press X to remove snakes. Oh, it won't let me feed him. Or does he specifically need rabbit? Oh, he specifically needs rabbit. Okay. That's unfortunate for me. I only had that one. So it must be ball pythons, who spawn on, I believe, different biomes. But I can still take one with me, even if I can't breed them. And maybe I'll find some closer to home another time. A part of me wonders if I can put multiple on. It said snakes plural. I'm gonna get a side quest. Side quest for onion plants. Okay, back to the side quest for snakes. Where are they all? Oh, here's... appears I can only have one snake. Or can I? I don't need that. Let's make a little bit of inventory space. Snake bag. Snake! Oh, what a win! Okay. I love Minecraft. I love snakes. I love critters. I love... Oh gosh. Thank you, modded Minecraft. Not to get like a little deep for a second, but man, life's been hard, and sometimes it's just nice to have a little snake who hangs out on you, and he's your buddy. The very last leg of our adventure is some more special grass, and that's it. That's gonna be the last thing I'm grabbing. I'm only a couple hundred blocks away from home now. I'm pretty sure I've been here before, and just didn't really bother to grab much of the time. I don't think I had a backpack when I was last here. But little bits of that, just so I have something to decorate. You can see I've picked up a couple more things, including another hamster. And I think the next step, after I've officially kind of reached home and organized my inventory, is going to be material gathering. Well, material gathering with more specificity. I'm gonna go and get everything that I need for the barn build. And so I started resource gathering. And then I found an infinite XP glitch added by the Horse Girl mob, and I definitely won't take advantage of it. I promise. Don't pay attention to if I keep any of this silt later on in the video. I definitely don't. I wouldn't do that. I found some disappointing veins of diamonds, and then I found some less disappointing veins of diamonds, and then I found a super cool and exciting vein of diamonds because it was stone diamond ore, and I'm pretty sure next to Deep Slate Emerald, that is the rarest ore in the game. So, very cool. I will be keeping that. Having finished in my mining expeditions, I went to head back to the surface and apparently decided it was quite important to show off my haul, which, to be fair, was a pretty sweet haul. There was some exciting stuff in there. Alright, I have more or less gathered everything I think I will need for this barn build, plus some extra. I haven't broken down all of the wooden things into the individual components I might need, because this build isn't built in creative already at all. I have an idea of the shape and the blocks I'm going to be using, and what where. But by and large, when I build, I kind of try to do it very organically. I try to do it as I'm going rather than, using Litomatica or something like that. Not always. Definitely when I'm doing much bigger builds than what I'm currently doing, I will go in and construct different pieces just for ease and to be confident that I'm going to like it before I've gone and placed all of those blocks. But for something of this size, I'm not really worried about that, and I'm just gonna craft up the components I need as I go, and we will see what we end up with. Probably I'll just build around those animals for now, because I really don't feel like moving them again quite yet. No, I don't, sir. I don't. Okay, I'm being serious this time. I'm going to turn off creeper explosions. I hate them, they're pointless. This does nothing but frustrate me, and, I hate you, creepers. Alright. The barn is mostly finished. I absolutely love... That is exactly the kind of look I wanted to go for, approaching from this direction. There definitely are still some details I want to add to the exterior. Some of that lattice work that I kind of had up here against the starter house. I'd like to put some up there, or maybe some vines or something, just to give that a little bit more visual interest. And I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this fence either. I was originally thinking maybe something closer to what I did with the crop field over there, but I also really like the way this lattice fence looks, and I wanted to, have a tie-in with the chicken coop as well. I'm thinking I'm going to be putting another crop field here. I haven't decided on exactly what yet, but of course, we also have the interior. The last time you saw it was most likely after that creeper exploded this whole area. Luckily I managed to get that repaired very quickly, and I did, in fact, install, I think it's creeper confetti. It's basically, it allows me to set it so that I'll still take damage when creepers explode, but they will no longer explode the terrain at all. Which is good, because This was a lot of annoying tiny details to rebuild, we'll just say that. Out here we do have the cows and the sheep right now. I am considering eventually splitting them into different pens, especially once I have like actually regular cows and regular sheep. These guys will probably be moved out entirely to their own area more suitable for animals that I would imagine live in cold environments, which this doesn't really look like. Besides that, I have this little area that I might put a couple of animals in. Maybe if I get some llamas or a horse or something before I've built a barn, I will just pop it in there. I also did this, which is just an automatic composter to make bone meal, but kind of piled up a little bit to make it look like it's a bunch of barn supplies or something along those lines. Upstairs, I do have a very small little loft area that has an extra bed because I was over here and running back over to the starter house to sleep was getting annoying, and then I figured I would just kind of leave it here. And finally, all the way up here, oh, that dirt's not supposed to be there. I do have a little bit of a kind of lookout tower, kind of ventilation tower. I just needed something to come out of the roof a little bit to make it look a little bit better, and I thought it would be another nice architectural tie-in with the chicken coop, because the roofs of the two, you can kind of see when I back up, are a little bit similar, albeit that one is much smaller. Now, the last thing that I want to do in this episode is make a little bit of a to-do list, and well, I've already done it, so I'm just going to show you guys the kinds of things I want to be accomplishing over our first few episodes after this one. Firstly, and most importantly, is going to be getting blaze rods and starting to make potions. A lot of the mods in this mod pack, in order to really explore them and get in depth in their mechanics, I need blaze powder. I need to be able to make potions. So that is first on my to-do list. And although in general I don't really know if I'm going to be following this in order, this will be coming up very, very shortly, most likely next episode. Next is going to be Unusual Prehistory. I've mentioned that that is one of my favorite mods, pretty much of all time, and in particular in this mod pack. And I'm really excited to explore it and build out kind of environments for all of the creatures and the flora that it adds. Kind of related to that, I want to build a reptile house. Primarily inspired by these little guys that we found earlier in this episode, but there are going to be plenty more reptiles that will fit into it, and I think we could kind of do a 2-in-1 and store some of the unusual prehistory stuff in the reptile house, at least at first, instead of immediately kind of building these both out as separate buildings. Next is going to be getting an elytra and, end busting. I might do that very soon after I get the blaze rods. I suppose it will depend on how hard I find it getting end pearl. But that is definitely something I want to do soon. I want to be able to fly and explore further and be able to get a better view of my builds, and even just being able to stop using scaffolding as much. Next is going to be a storage room. I do have plenty of storage in here, and it does help that I have storage drawers and I have sophisticated storage installed. And both of those have made the starting storage situation very, very manageable, much more so than usual. But it's not enough. There's a lot of items in this mod pack, and I enjoy having a very organized space. So that is going to be a necessity very, very soon. Lastly, and probably the most oddly, to you guys at any rate, is going to be a photo booth. Now, the reason why I want to do a photo booth is because some mobs in this mod pack actually capturing them and moving them into some kind of exhibit or enclosure for them would be either far too difficult for me, or I mean, inhumane in some cases. I don't really want, for example, ooh, it is dark. Mobs that have lots of variants, like the chickens, for example, just the vanilla chickens. I don't want separate exhibits for each variant of the chicken, but I want to prove that I've seen them all and I've, documented all the variants. So to that end, I have installed a little camera mod that will let me take pictures, and I just want to build a nice place to really be able to see the mob without too much getting in the way, at least for cases like the chickens where I can have the mob on hand. I think that will be nice to have. With that, I am going to wrap up today's episode. It has been a little bit longer than I really planned on it ever being, and, I have a lot I need to do behind the scenes just to prepare for going into the Nether. I have food to cook up, I have armor to do better enchantments on, that kind of thing. I really appreciate you guys giving me a watch, and I hope you'll consider subscribing and giving this video a like if you enjoyed it. I hope to see you next time, and have a wonderful day, and stay safe out there.